Everybody, it's BC. Thanks for checking out this video. Today, we're going over how to attain bronze. Now, I'm already past this on our server in our game, but I wanted to make this video for new players that are still messing with Nether and attempting to make that big step, getting into bronze-based armors, bronze shields, tooling, that kind of stuff like that. So I'm going to give an explanation as to the steps that's required to do it. Now, to show off a little bit of what I got here, I went ahead and grabbed my stored bronze armor that I've got. So there's a bronze buckler I've got. These pieces have been upgraded to tier 2. These bronze pieces of armor, bronze tooling, they require forge. And so as far as crafting goes, to make a forge, and that's one of the first steps in doing this, you need to do stone, coal, tin, and copper. Now the copper has to be smelted. So before you can make a forge and craft one, you have to start with a smelter and a charcoal kiln. Now the requirements for these are pretty simple. It's just stone and then these Surtling, which can be found off of Surtling, the guys that are on fire that run around fast and throw fireballs in the swamp, or from the burial chambers where the skeletons are in the Black Forest. For a new player, that's obviously the preferable choice. This swamp's more difficult. So basically, to be able to do, like I was saying, to craft a forge, you need to have these two guys. Now, the crafting for the smelter and charcoal cans, 5 Surtling cores each. So realistically, that probably takes 2 of the burial grounds, the burial chambers that are within the Black Forest to attain, but you might get lucky and be able to get them done. Once you have those, and once you have these constructed, then you need to go and grab copper and tin. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to skip over, and I'm going to show you a demonstration of how you can get these. Okay, so here we are at a copper deposit that I've located inside the Black Forest. And I've waited until morning time. I'm not doing this at night or anything like that, because at nighttime the gray dwarfs tend to be a lot higher in number, and they'll cluster up and they'll come attack you and that. So if you are new to this game, I would recommend doing this in the daytime. Plus, it's easier to see in the Black Forest. At night, it's a little more difficult. It's harder to spot stuff, you know, what have you. But it's basically safer in the daytime, rather, not at night, to do this. The copper deposits, as you can see here, look like a big chunk of rock, except they have kind of a glint type of look to them, kind of veiny looking type things. They don't look like actual raw copper would be your combination of mid-color green, brown, or rusted type shape in there, things like that. So you kind of have to really eyeball some of the shiny parts on it. And plus, once you get close to them, your crosshair will label it and target it out and say copper deposit. One thing I wanted to go into here is this requires the use of a pickaxe. So if this game and you've never done any type of mining before, this or tin, which is what we're going to focus on today for the sake of bronze, you have to have already defeated the first boss, the big giant stag. I think it's called the Eikthyr or something like that. And he gives this antlers that you can then fashion into the first pickaxe. There is no stone pickaxe or flint pickaxe, at least by the creation date of this video. So you have to be able to do that to advance up to bronze. I suspect it's probably going to remain that way because there are other things in the game that do that. So to give a demonstration here, I'm using a 3rd tier iron pickaxe since I'm still in the Iron Age of stuff. I haven't advanced out further than that, and I've placed all my tooling with that. But just to kind of give a demonstration here as to what this looks like, basically you walk up to it, and you whack on it, and start busting chunks up. Now, it will produce a lot of stone, copper does in particular, because I think these are primarily stone mixed in with copper. So what you have to do is you have to be mindful of your inventory. In this case, I've got a full set of bronze in here for the sake of this video, plus everything I'm wearing and all my weaponry and stuff like that, so I have very few slots here. But you want to pay attention to the amount of copper ore that you have versus the amount of stone, because you wind up collecting a whole lot of stone really quickly. So basically, you just beat on this thing, and with the starter pickaxe, it can take quite a while to collect a lot of copper. So earlier on in the game, it's nice to have a couple of buddies with you. Another caveat here about it is that it will attract critters. So since I'm near a burial chamber, I've got these skeletons that are guarding the place, and they hear the noise. One other thing I wanted to mention, staying on that point, is the mining is loud, and in the Black Forest you can bulls. Bulls will come stomping over, looking to investigate. You know, hey, what's all this? You could wind up getting into a fight with a troll. And as a new player, that should probably be a whole separate video on in terms of how to kill that kind of thing like that. It is possible when you're still in your leather and your first sets of starting bows, or maybe you've gotten a fine wood bow by now, you know, that kind of thing like that. It's possible to do it. Maybe I'll do a separate video for that. So that's basically just a word of caution. So this is a demonstration of of how to do pickaxe and how to get copper. So what we're going to do is jump over into how to get 10. So we'll be right back. Okay, so here we are on the edge of the Black Forest, next to the coastline, and we have a chunk of tin here. Tin tends to litter the coastal areas of the Black Forest biomes. It's pretty proliferate, and I think that's done as a way to keep the tin to copper ratio balanced. The copper you can get quite a lot out of those big rocky nodules or veins or whatever you want, chunks, whatever you want to call them, that are sitting above the ground. But tin is small little amounts like yay. So other than being harassed by occasional gray dwarf, the same rules apply as far as the amount of noise that you're making with mining this stuff, as it does with copper. Watch out for trolls, be mindful of burial chambers or troll caves, things like that. So a demonstration here, this is how you grab tin, smack it with a pickaxe. Again, this is an iron pickaxe, so it is fancier, and it is a better tool. You can think of it as kind of like the third level of pickaxes. You've got your initial starter one, that's like I mentioned earlier, that's crafted by killing the first boss, and it's the antler one basically, and then go up to bronze, which we're talking about here. Ultimately, we want to be able to craft a bronze pickaxe and get a nicer one, and then replace the starter one, and then you get to iron. But anyway, that's kind of a demonstration right there of 10. It's going to wind up being more mobile rather than sitting at one deposit. So the same rules still apply, like I mentioned earlier. Be mindful of the critters around. The deadliest threat's going to be trolls, especially for players that are unfamiliar with how to deal with them, that kind of thing like that. But other than that, that pretty much covers copper and tin as far as acquiring them. Again, pickaxe, you have to have the starter one. There is no starter pickaxe, or excuse me, no stone pickaxe. This game is based on progression. You have to do certain steps to advance the different eras or whatever, for the lack of better terminology. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to zip back over to the camp. I'm going to show you guys how to take this raw material and turn it into stuff that we can produce. So be right back. Okay, so here we are. We're back at the camp, and I've got copper and my 810 that I've mined, ready to do some smelting. Now, I don't recommend, and I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, I probably did, I don't recommend this as a new player doing it solo. You have a limited weight carrying capacity, carry so much more, and plus you've got the critters that you have to deal with that at when you're newer into the game and still not very well equipped, they're far more dangerous. So take a couple of buddies with this. You can do a double whammy with it. Kill more mobs, and then you're able to deal with being able to carry more ore, make it one trip kind of a thing. That's my recommendation. That's how we did it when we... Anywho, so we've got 2 charcoal kilns here, and we've got kilns right now, and then we've got our smelter here. So what we do is we grab some chunks of wood. In this case, I'm going to grab 50, one stack of it. I'm going to feed 25 into each of these kilns here. So what these kilns do is they basically burn the wood down and turn it into coal. So, just for demonstration's sake, I've got some coal stored, and I'll probably wind up using that here shortly. But this is just to show you how this works. So this thing's already spitting it out. I recommend 2 kilns per smelter, because the smelter can wind up outpacing greatly, at least by double, the output of a kiln. So this is why at this camp here, it's set up in this particular manner. Requirements for smelter and kilns, they have to be placed on raw ground, real terrain. You can't place them on floor like that. So they have to be placed here outside. Now what I did here is I took one of these old houses from this camp I fixed up, topped it up, and converted it into a cover, basically. So that thing is spitting out coal, and then what we're going to do, we're going to take this coal, and we have 3 here, we're going to feed it into the smelter. It can hold 20. Now, again, the reason why I like to do 2 kilns per smelter, because of the consumption of coal in these smelters here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our ores, and we're going to feed them into the side. That should fill up 10 slots. Both coppers and all 8 of the 10s. When placing the smelter down, this is something I did want to demonstrate real quick. Placing this down, make sure you're not blocking the sides or the front, so don't pack it right next to, say, a house like this, because the coal in there. So that's just something to keep in mind. And if you decide to go with multiple smelters and speed it up, make sure they're not stacked right next to each other. Need to have these 3 sides open. Okay, so we got our first piece of copper that just got spat out. So that's what it looks like. It's just a straight copper bar, and this is our crafting material. So if we wanted to, say, get a forge going, which is the next workbench step, would need 6 copper, 10 wood, 4 coal, and 4 stone. So the stone and the wood's easy enough to gather. The coal is a piece of cake. Just kilns that you have, feed some wood in there. It takes all of, I don't know, a minute to go and get a stack of wood, you know, especially in a meadow or black forest where it's a, you know, heavily wooded area, you know, and just go to town. So let's throw a little bit more coal back in. This may still not be enough, this entire stack of wood that's fit in there to get all this coal to smelt 10 pieces down. So this is one of those operations where you kind of have to hang around and go in this loop. You know, grab coal, feed it in, grab your metal, store it, or whatever, or put it in a box. I do recommend having a storage box next to the smelter. It's kind of nice to be able to put excess coal, or like, say, if you get a stack of 30 ore, be able to split it up in chunks of 5 or 10 or whatever you want to. And it's, you know, it's an organized way of doing stuff. So now that we've got this going, we're going to go look at the forge. Actually, let's go in here and do the real forge. The forge is just like the workbench, in as much as craft stuff, repair things. The forge is more about leather and caves and arrows or whatever. But the forge is about doing metal stuff. And so this is your first major thing that you're able to do to produce bronze, and then later iron, and then for other stuff. So here, once you get a hold of a 10 bar that's smelted and a copper bar that's smelted, then that opens up all these new engrams, recipes, for lack of better terminology, that will pop open here. So we're able to make bronze chest, bronze legs, bronze arrows, you know, and they have decent gear and upgrade over some of their stuff. Let's see, just to show some of the stats off, these are tier 2 pieces that I brought with me that I'm wearing for the sake of demonstration here. This is what I wore for quite a while until I finally got iron. So it's pretty decent looking stuff. It has good durability, good armor on it. It's not as good as iron. Well, again, iron's a step up, but it's still pretty good. It's a major jump as compared to your starting tunics and even crafted leather stuff. So this is a really big deal. bronze is what, in my opinion, really opens up the game. It makes things possible. You can start doing swamp diving. Your wood gathering is better because you can make actual steel axes instead of screwing with stone and axes that fall apart and don't. You can make your first metallic maces. Your bronze mace, especially upgraded, is a very good blunt weapon. Probably one that you'd stick with for quite a while. Shields, you can build a proper bronze shield with a lot of parrying for it. You know, it's just all good all around. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with it. And this is something that I recommend pursuing greatly. Put a lot of effort into it. Get your forge upgraded with the various types of upgrades that you can do here. So forge cooler, tool rack. Some of this stuff requires iron. So what's going to happen is once you're able to keep smelting iron, like you can get a forge with bronze alone. You can get it upgraded to third tier, maybe fourth, on that neighborhood. This one, by comparison, to 7, so you have some iron stuff based on it. But yeah, I mean, it goes to show that you can build some really nice stuff. So, like I was saying, the bronze is a very good step up. There's so much stuff that you can do with it. It's fantastic as compared to the older stuff. So some things actually require bronze pieces to craft. I'm going to do a demonstration here. So I'm going to take 10 copper and 5 tin. So it's a 2-to-1 ratio, copper to tin, to be able to craft bronze plates. Now they give me the option to craft single bronze plates or make a pack of 5. And since I have no room, I probably need to drop something here. I'll drop the I'll keep coming back to him. But anyway, so we're going to craft 5 bronze. Now one of the things that you can do on this that I didn't mention is you can craft bronze nails. Bronze nails, you're able to make the second tier boat that really starts to allow a lot of sailing stuff, sailing apps, go and explore and get around. Or it opens that up because everybody knows the craft sucks. So the bronze nails open up some other crafting. So, anywho, I think that's probably it. I don't think there's really much else to go on this. We've covered acquisition of copper and tin, mining, the requirements for it, safety requirements. When you're new, do it by yourself. Don't be like me and run out there alone. Make sure that you have space to hold copper and tin, and dump all the extra stone that you wind up getting from copper mining. The crafting of the forge and the charcoal kilns require 5 Surtling, which require burial chamber runs. I don't recommend going to the swamp to fight the actual flaming, certainly fireball throwing dudes yet. So that's a little bit too up there. And then also the smelting of the metals, and maybe tips on how to store it. Crafting of the forge, where the forge really opens all this up. So I hope for you guys that are out there that are new to the game that this helps quite a bit in explaining some of this stuff. I will list out in the description below not only timestamps on being able to skip through different portions of it, but also some of the requirements, so you don't have to swim through all the fluff in the video to try and find all. I'll just list them all out there to make it. So again, thanks for watching. I hope this helps. This game is fantastic. I recommend everybody play it. We're hooked on it. And again, bronze is a big game changer when you're new. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Y'all have a good one.